What is up, everyone? Bringing you a video on this Glock 19 Gen 5 build. I've showcased this build quite a bit, but I actually had somebody ask me to go over each part on this particular build. And no, it's been a little while. I don't do a whole lot of videos. I'm not like a super regular uploader. I won't go into my reasoning behind it, but I just know I upload kind of on my own accord. So I'm not trying to annoy everybody with a ton of videos. And I just kind of do my own thing, but I have my own personal reasons why I don't do a lot of videos. I purchased all these parts with my own money, and I really try to do my best not to pay full retail price for anything. So I had a subscriber ask me to go over a parts list for this particular build, and I told him I would, and I'm always a man of my word. So this is for you. Anyway, so let's do the right thing. Make sure that this gun is unloaded. It is cleared. Nothing in the chamber, nothing in the mag well. Just be aware, I do keep my magazines loaded. So if that makes you nervous, this isn't your gun. And there will be no negligent or accidental discharges in this video. So I will say with these magazine extensions, I got another one over here on this particular one. With these magazine extensions to me don't really matter. I haven't seen a huge difference in performance from any of these mag extensions. So just go whichever one that suits your fancy the best and stick with that. I will say I have had an issue with one magazine extension, this one right here, the Killer Innovations Velocity one, where I didn't like how the spring was seating the rounds on a full magazine. Like you don't hear it now, but if you loaded a full mag, shuck it, and you would hear the rounds moving around. What I ended up doing, I had some extra magazine extension springs, I believe from Shield Arms. Stuck one of those in there, works just fine. I haven't had any issues with any of the other extensions that I own, but I do use OEM bodies, followers for all my magazine extensions. Now, the only time that I don't use OEM followers and bodies or OEM magazines is when I go to the range. I just like to save my springs for my carry mags and stuff like that. Base plates, you don't really need base plates, but I actually just wanted just a regular sized magazine with a nice little color detail to go with the build. It'll go with two builds. It actually goes with this build, and it goes with this build. And the reason why I made two black and gold builds, I'm not a huge, like, gold to me is very flashy, but I have found that PVD and anodization and titanium nitride seem to color match the best out of any of the color variants. So if that's important to you, that's kind of why I decided to go with it. This particular build, I went because it's got just a darker anodization on almost all the parts. That's kind of why I decided to stick with the parts. You got Killer Innovations there, Killer Innovations there. That's actually Strike Industries. That is a polymer magazine catch. This is a PVD coated barrel. You can see it's just a little bit darker. And then the Killer Innovations Velocity in the back, which is a little bit darker. Color filled some of it. Cross Armory pens, Tyrant Designs, slide stop slide release, Cross Armory pens, and takedown lever right there. So that's that build in a nutshell, but I'm going to go over this one. So again, just play it safe, nothing in the chamber, no magazine. It is safe to handle. Let's get these magazines out of the way. I just kind of wanted to explain the magazine extensions. I'll just go over where I get the magazine extensions. So Shield Arms runs a sale every now and then. I will say Shield Arms is running a sale on November 14th. We'll have 30% off all their magazine extensions, and that includes their with the ones that are pre-installed on their magazine bodies. So this Glock 19, this is a Gen 5. I think they typically sell like Gen 4 magazines, OEM with their magazine extensions, if that's your thing. They're originally $60 with the extension, but with that 35% off, I think it actually takes it down to like $38 for the magazine extension and an OEM body, OEM follower, and their spring and everything already pre-installed. I will say the biggest difference to these are how these lock up. So you've got a nice long set screw that goes on the entire length of the magazine extension. This is probably the sturdiest design. This Tyrant I haven't had any issues with, but it's got a little detent here that you can push in. You just got to make sure that it seats properly. If you push in that detent by accident, that way, I mean, it would take a lot of force to pull that magazine off, but you could do it if you really wanted to. You can kind of see the magazine's bowed a little bit. Not a huge deal or anything, but this was a little bit harder to install. I did kind of mess up the extension a little bit there by trying to install it. But this is one of my first extensions that I bought, so I wasn't entirely familiar on the installation process. And these are typically $40. Most magazine extensions are going to be $40 if you get the aluminum ones. AR-15 Discounts does a lot of their Tyrant products on Overstock, so they'll give you 15% off with the coupon code Overstock, making this magazine extension, what would that make that? It'd make it like it's 15% off of 40. So let's call that 6. It'd be $34 for the magazine extension at AR15discounts.com. And that is all day, any day of the week. And that includes everything from their back plates. They don't have the Gen 5 slide stop slide releases, but they do have the magazine catches. They do have the back plates, which are normally $20 through Tyrant. Right there, but they'll make them like 17 bucks on the AR-15 Discounts. Back plates don't really do anything but make them aesthetically look better. They don't sell magwells either. I bought this Gen 5 Tyrant Designs magwell from Optics Planet. It was on sale. It was $56 plus 20. I think it was 15% bonus bucks back. So they gave me like $7 or $8 back on my next purchase. Plus I used like a 15% off coupon code with it, bringing it down to like $50. Plus I got $7 back for it. $50 plus $7, not a bad deal for the magwell itself. So, and then the screw comes in black and gold. Obviously I went with the gold. All right, and then I was going over magazine extensions, but I was talking about Tyrant products, just to kind of get that out of the way. Arc Division, they're running a sale, $32 directly from their site. You do have to pay tax and shipping on it. However, this is probably one of the smallest profile magazine extensions that I own. You can see how small of a profile, like it just barely, it stops right where the grip plug would be. And then you got ones like Shield Arms, which is the heaviest and the biggest. You can see just how large that magazine extension is compared to this Arc Division. So just kind of choose whether you want a nice, large, heavy one to help the magazine drop free, because it really does help the magazine drop free. Although I don't have any issues with the Arc Division either. So just kind of keep that in mind. And then Arc Division, that was $32. This Strike Industries base plate, it is aluminum. I think I picked these up from AR-15 Discounts. They run sales on them every now and then. They come out to like 10, 11, 12 bucks, something like that. One thing I do like about AR15discounts.com is they don't charge sales tax and they don't charge shipping on orders $150 more. So when you place, let's say like Primary Arms, they always charge you shipping, they always charge you sales tax. Like I make purchases of $300, $400, sometimes up to $1,000 on gun parts at one time. At 7%, that's $70 in sales tax, and the shipping on it, let's call it, you know, 15, 20 bucks in shipping for Primary Arms. You're looking at $100 price increase on a $1,000 order. I mean, that's almost 10% of your order, where like a company like AR-15 Discounts won't charge you sales tax, won't charge you shipping. That really adds up. People kind of harp on me because I mentioned that in some of my videos. Like, oh, you're so poor that you can't pay tax or shipping on it. But really, it saves you a lot of money. I mean, the government gets enough of my tax money. Why would I want to give them more? Shipping is kind of a thing. If I can avoid it, great. If not, I mean, shipping's kind of, you know, a thing. But Optics Planet, they also don't charge shipping on orders $50 more, but they do charge sales tax. Anyway, back to the build. So I was getting just absolutely smoked on places. I post my builds on Reddit and stuff like that, and I was just getting absolutely demolished on my builds just for having one Olight on my builds. I bought into the Olight hype a while ago. I bought a ton of their lights all at one time. I mean, I got like 50 lights for $1,000. So, and I was like, that's going to be it. I was able to buy I bought like 10, 12 of the pistol lights. And then I bought, it probably was like 15 of the rifle lights. Plus I got some handhelds and stuff too, from Olight one day. And, you know, I made separate orders so I could get free flashlights, stuff like that. I ended up shopping really smart on it, but man, people will just destroy you for putting an Olight on this. And so I just decided to buy a Streamlight TLR7A just so I would quit being burned. But funny enough, posted the same build and people are like, oh my God, you can't afford a Surefire. And I'm like, oh Lord, people, you guys are just, you can't make everybody happy. Anyway, bought the Streamlight TLR7A, bought it from Battlehawk Armory. I believe these, on most days you can pick these up for $100, which isn't bad. They don't charge sales tax, but their shipping, it's kind of dependent on how many items from different manufacturers that you purchase. If you bought a bunch of Streamlight products, like let's say you bought 40 Streamlights all at once from Battlehawk Armory, the shipping on it would be like 10 or 15 bucks. If you bought like 5 different items from different manufacturers, your shipping's going to be like $50. So they charge you like, they're a drop shipper, but they're probably the cheapest price that I've seen on parts, if they have them available. But anyway, that's where I got my Streamlight from. I got this trigger straight from Tyrant. They have a coupon code. If you use coupon code WELCOME5, they'll give you 5% off your entire purchase. You could probably find this trigger cheaper elsewhere. I've seen these as cheap as 50 or 55 bucks on Optics Planet. They're originally 70 bucks MSRP. With that coupon code, it brings it down to like, you know, what is it, like, let's call it like 70 bucks, a little like 72, something like that, from directly from Tyrant. But I've seen these as low as like 56 bucks, 57 bucks on Optics Planet with 15% cash back on it. So do what you will with that information at least. And then the Tyrant Design CNC, these extended magazine or slide stop slide release buttons. People really dig on me for putting these on here too. I hate to break it to you people, but these are OEM slide stop slide releases, right? So it's completely OEM, and the only part that they manufacture, right, is this anodized part with the chevrons on it. So they just pop that in on an OEM slide stop slide release. So it is extended, so it sticks out just a little bit further than OEM, but it's an OEM part, people. So that's what I don't really understand. People will just burn the hell out of you for putting a part on there when it's technically just OEM. They're like, oh, why don't you just run OEM? Tyrant is trash, blah, blah, blah. I'm like, whatever, dude. Anyway, I did do an upgrade here recently, and I'm not entirely sure about it. I just did it. It's the locking block. It's titanium nitride coated, right? And I did it. Hold on. Because you can kind of see the gold through there, and it kind of matches the profile of the barrel. Don't really need it. I believe I bought it, can't remember the seller, but I bought it on eBay. He had these for 20 bucks. I kept them in my cart for a few days, and he sent me an offer to buy 2 of them for $18 a piece. So that's what I did. And they're actually 17 Ford billet instead of metal injection molded casting from like OEM ones are. So I bought 2 of them for 2 of these builds I have right here. Funny enough though, the OEM one that I've hand polished myself is much more lubricious. Like, it feels a lot slicker than the titanium nitride one. And you can see the titanium nitride one's already starting to wear, and I haven't actually had it all that long. So I don't really recommend that part, but I just did it just to buy it. I will say, once the coating wears off, the 17.4 billet will probably wear a little bit better than the injection metal molded one. But, and a locking block, I've actually worn out on a Glock lower before. But all right, so since I've just got the lower out and get the locking block out of the way, let's go over the magazine catch, the pins for it, and the takedown lever, which is extended. They're all from a company called Cross Armory, although I purchased the entire set, which includes the magazine catch, the pins, and the takedown lever. I buy it from a company called Battlehawk Armory again. If you can find them for the Gen 5 on their website, they're like 27, 28 bucks. Where if you look online, you'll like the magazine catch is like 20 or 25. The pins are like 20 bucks, and the takedown lever is like 20 bucks. So if you purchase them separately, it's like 60 bucks for the parts separately. I do believe Cross Armory sells the entire set for like 50 bucks retail. So $28 from Battlehawk Armory is probably the cheapest that you're going to find it. They come in silver, blue, red, gold, and black. The magazine catch isn't my favorite by any means. It is metal, but it is gold all the way through, which is kind of nice. It's got a little label on the side that your thumb won't hit. The pins are dimpled, and it does make it so when you use a punch pin, your punch pin isn't moving around everywhere. But I will say, if you take down or take apart your weapon, like I do a lot, you will wear off the coating. And then I will say one of the few upgrades I say is almost a must-have is this extended release takedown lever. It makes your life so much easier. It really does. At least it makes my life so much easier. And then the only thing that's aftermarket internally is on the trigger housing and stuff is going to be your connector bar. The connector is a Lone Wolf connector, and I have tried a lot of different connectors, as you can see here. And sometimes, like this Lone Wolf connector, that's one of the first connectors I've ever purchased. And I've tried it in a lot of different builds, including this one. It feels like garbage in here, but it actually feels pretty good in this one. It's got a nice rolling brake. You can see if the trigger or the red dot barely moves. And yeah, and you want that. You want to be able to pull the trigger so the red dot barely moves. And you can see it's got no over travel, and it's got kind of a rolling brake. If you just pull the trigger naturally, it feels pretty good. So I do like that Lone Wolf connector. I do buy a lot, like I said, a lot of aftermarket connectors. I buy them from Locked and Loaded or Battlehawk Armory. And their connectors are anywhere between $8 or $15. I believe the one with like the firing pin spring, trigger return spring, and the safety plunger spring, I think they're like 20 bucks or 22 bucks for the connector and all those springs and everything, which I have purchased as well. But you can find like a Ghost Avenger or a Ghost Lady for like 8 bucks on there if you're looking to try out some different connectors. Don't buy them from eBay. They're way overpriced on there. I'd pick them up from Battlehawk Armory or Locked and Loaded. That's another good retailer. DAC Outdoors has the same prices, but man, you'll be waiting a month before you get those products. So just beware with DAC Outdoors with that. I think they're all about the same quality as far as like most of their lead times, but their shippings the shipping's much quicker from Battlehawk, and then Locked and Loaded, and then DAC Outdoors. But they're all about the same type of drop what do you call it, drop shipping retailer. Anyway, all right, so let's move on to the slide. The slide is a Norso Reptile C slide, and I actually picked up this slide from Norso. It was a blim. And the blim you can't even see because in the picture or the description, the blim is on top where the optic is mounted, and they'll show the picture. It was 250 bucks from Norso directly. And if you're interested in these Norso slides, I highly recommend going to their website about once a month, and you'll see overstock, you'll see blims, and I was just lucky enough. They actually had 3 of these blims all at one time for like $250 or $260. I think the severity of the blim causes it to be less. So all the blims look the same to me, so I just picked the cheapest one. So if you're looking for a decent price on a Norso slide, I'd recommend that. And this is Cerakoted, not nitrided coated, which I'm not a huge fan of, and it took some time to break in the actual slide. So just be aware of that. Now that's broken in, that's why you see grease on the barrel and stuff. I really had to break in the slide on this. So this took the longest of any aftermarket slide. Norso slides, they're kind of clunky at first. The tolerances are a little bit tighter, but they're decent looking slides. And I've used a lot of aftermarket barrels on this, and this Killer Innovations one slides. It's got the best lockup, less movement, and I like the design cues of this Killer Innovations Velocity slide. Now, retail the Norso slide's about $480, $500, just so you're aware. So $250 is about half price, which is really good. The Killer Innovations Velocity barrel is probably one of the most expensive barrels, minus like an Agency Premier Line barrel, which I don't know why it's so expensive on that Agency. This is probably the best machined aftermarket barrel for a Glock platform that you can get. Now, it is pricey. The retail price on this barrel is $252, but Optics Planet had a sale on it. I believe they were doing 20% cash back on the actual barrel, so they gave me $40 on towards my next purchase. Plus, I could use a coupon code on it, and it was already on sale again. It was like $222 or $225. So it was like $25 off of retail. Plus, I used a coupon code, saving me like an extra 20 bucks off of it, making this barrel about $200. I'm willing to pay $200 for an aftermarket Glock barrel. Plus, I got $40 cash back on my next purchase, which I kind of consider into some of my purchases. That's probably one of the cheapest that I could find this barrel. If you purchase something from Killer Innovations, sign up for their mailing list. They'll send you like a 10 or 15% off coupon code off your first purchase. You make a purchase, and then if you wait like 2 months, they'll send you a 20% off coupon. I almost bought that barrel with that 20% off coupon. So that would drop this this barrel down to about 200 bucks as well, straight directly from Killer Innovations, if you're interested in that. So I paid about 200 bucks for that barrel. If you want to call it 160 with the cash back, you can. I'll call it 200 bucks. And then already went over the back plate. I bought a complete Gen 5 upper parts kit from a company called L2D Combat. They had like the tire, it's got like a skeletonized striker. It's got the whole upper parts kit, the extractor, safety plunger, but it came with a titanium nitrided depressor plunger. You can see right there. So I decided to put it in there. That upper parts kit was, I believe, $99. So it was pretty expensive for a complete upper parts kit. But I've got some extra parts from my Gen 5. I don't consider that into the entire cost. I do believe you can buy these just plungers from L2D Combat for 20 bucks, 25 bucks, something like that, which is quite expensive. So I just would recommend just buying a whole upper parts kit, and then you'll have some spare parts on hand. So I'll consider that a $15 part on this particular build. So I already went over the back plate. Everything else is OEM as far as the upper parts internals, but I do I do polish all the internals. So everything from the firing pin, the safety plunger, the trigger bar, trigger return spring, the rails, connector, where the safety plunger rides. I polish the locking block. I polish everything that I can as far as on all my Glocks. All right, so this next part, I'll go over the recoil spring. And the recoil spring, it's from a company called Centennial Arms. It's an 18-pound, which is OEM factory recoil spring. It is aftermarket. I haven't had any issues with it so far. Seems to function just like an OEM. It is quite expensive. Wasn't on sale or anything. I think they're like $50. You can always use a coupon, find a coupon code on Optics Planet. They regularly have coupon codes for 9, 10, 11, 12% off. I've seen them up to 15% off sometimes, about once a month. So just find something, be patient. The thing that I don't like about Optics Planet is that, well, there's a couple things. You have to make sure the item's in stock. Otherwise, you'll be waiting a while. I've never actually received an item on back order. I just gave up and I've always canceled. And then you have to, their prices dramatically change. Like I was looking at a Midwest Industries 11.5-inch handguard. It was literally $130 last week. This week, it's like 165. So it just went up $30 literally overnight for a week. And I'm just waiting for the price to drop again on it. Otherwise, I would have purchased it. So that's the only thing I don't like about Optics Planet. You got to buy things that are in stock, and their prices will just go off the charts or swing super low sometimes. So I've bought parts before, and literally a couple of days later, the same damn parts like $100 cheaper. I'm like, what the hell? Anyway. That's my little rant on Optics Planet. Some people have an issue with Optics Planet. I've never really had an issue with Optics Planet other than seeing just the price variations, and their back ordering is just terrible. All right, so I went over everything. Though this is a Safiri Precision throat protector. I just had it laying around. Killer Innovations comes with a black one, so I didn't like the black one that was knurled. I like this one from Safiri Precision just a little bit more. These sights are Strike Industries suppressor height iron sights, and I quite like them for the price. AR-15 discounts, again, they run sales on these. I've seen them as low as $24 for the set, and they're on sale quite regularly for, I think, like 28. So like $28 for a set of iron sights is really good. I will say that the back sight always seems to be really tight. I usually have to file down the back sight a little bit. That is probably the only downside. But I like the back sight. I like that little line on the top. Not a huge fan of the U-notch. It's got serrations in the back. I like the design of it. Like these are just well-designed back sights. The front sight, not a huge fan of. I would prefer fiber optics, but they're not going to be as hardy. But I just decided you can actually push on that front sight to rack the slide, which is interesting. You couldn't do that with a fiber optic. But anyway, these aren't bad iron sights, and these are a backup sighting system for me, so I'm not that concerned about them. I used to put Trijicons on all my builds like this, Trijicon suppressor heights, and I found these as low as $68 before, but that's getting to be pretty rare. They're typically, $100 sights. So if you're not looking to spend $100 on your backup sighting system, I can recommend these Strike Industries backup sights. They're not that bad. And then I've got a Holosun 407. I bought a bunch of these Holosun 407s. I've got like 8 of these Holosun 407s or 507s all together. I purchased a bunch of them back, and I'm glad I did. Optics Planet again. You used to be able to use coupon codes on Holosuns, and they had like 15 or 20% cash back on almost all their Holosuns. So I'd use a coupon code and I get cash back on their Holosuns. I used to purchase one about once a month, and then they finally did away with it. And now they're just like full retail. Nobody runs coupons on Holosuns anymore. I'm not entirely sure why, but I bought like a 508. I bought a bunch of these 407s, 507s, reds, greens, whatever. put them on a bunch of different weapon platforms. That's where I got this 508 from, by the way. And they had 20% cash back on this. I think it was $369 plus 20% cash back. So they gave me $70 cash back on my next purchase. Plus I used a 10% off coupon code, which brought this down to like $320 plus $70 cash back. I mean, you can't find a deal on a Holosun like that today. And this 407 red dot, I believe at the time it was, I want to say it was $180, and that was just regular retail price. That wasn't on sale. Plus I had a $15 off coupon code that literally Optics Planet will send you with every order, $15 off a purchase of $150 more. I think I used that coupon code on this optic because I only bought the one optic at $180. Plus they had like 15 or 20% cash back on it, giving me like $30 cash back on my next purchase. I'm glad I did that, but they don't run those sales anymore, unfortunately. So what do I have in this entire build? So if you include one magazine extension and things of that sort, I think I have like $1,000, $1,100 into the entire build. That includes the optic, all the aftermarket parts, the barrels, the flashlight, trigger, magazine extension. It literally includes everything, including the price of the gun. This gun I picked up from a police officer, used. It was a Blue Label. He sold to me for $400. So not too shabby. You got $400 in the gun, plus let's call it like a $150 for the optic, $250 for the slide, $200 for the barrel. I've got about $100 in all these gold parts, like the back plate, magazine catch, slide stop, slide release, the pins, takedown lever, and the safety depressor plunger extractor with this thing right here that runs through. I always get the name of that wrong. Don't hate me for that. Let's call that $100. I got $100 in the magwell in the magazine extension, and then let's call it like $100 in the recoil spring and the trigger. I don't know. You add it up. Plus, I don't know. It's probably like closer to $1,100 for this entire build. So you'd be hard pressed to do that today, but I shop smart, man. Like I'll wait months just to put a part on here to find it for a better price rather than just buying it willy-nilly. That's why you've seen that kind of the progression go with both of these, almost all my Glock builds. I'll just slowly purchase parts over time, and I like to try different things and stuff too. So that's why you'll never see me running the same gear on most of my stuff unless I really like it. So anyway, this has turned into a pretty long video, but I really wanted to go in depth on the build for this particular Glock 19 Gen 5 because there's a lot to go over, and I like to be pretty thorough on pricing, where to get it, how to get it for my price. Some of the things you won't be able to get anymore, some of the things you will. If you have any questions about how to find the best prices on things, I'm always willing to answer those questions. I'm always willing to answer any sort of questions about problem solving. If you're having issues with the build, I will try to find out the answer if I don't know it, and I don't always know the answer. But the whole reason I make these videos is trying just to help the gun community. The more information is out there about these products, about my experiences on these things, I think the better. And I'm not some sort of paid shill. None of these companies know anything about me. They don't send me free products. I mean, I literally just buy all this stuff with my own money, and I try to do it for the best price that I can. I will say, like, a lot of the aftermarket stuff isn't really necessary on Glocks. Most of it is going to be strictly aesthetic. So do what you will with that information, and just join me next time, guys. I appreciate it.